Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units. This time as an incursion to the Napoleonic Wars, to the year of 1810 and 1811, and this is the French army, the so-called Armée de Portugal of General Massena. In fact, he was a marshal by then, and it is the army that invaded Portugal for the third time. First two invasions were failed. This one will also fail, but I mean, among plenty of adventures, it will have a very big battle, more or less at the beginning of the invasion, which is the Battle of Buçaco, and this is the army, the French army that was at the Battle of Buçaco. So it is each stand more or less corresponds to 200 men. The rules that I was intending to use is Age of Eagles. I mean, the Napoleonic companion of Fire and Fury for American Civil War. But recently I've been looking at the new and free, available on the Perry website, Valor and Fortitude rules. Very simple, 6 pages. And this is I guess that it's a little bit my ideal. Simple rules that sometimes don't get to a certain degree of complication that sometimes, put you aside of wargaming. Age of Eagles is a great set of rules, but not easy, because it is very, very, very comprehensive and very detailed, and sometimes it is not, at least for me, the best approach, because what I really enjoy doing is models and armies like the one you are seeing. So this is the French army. A small detail about these things. I'm using this thing. I'm using each stand, as you can see here. Each stand is 3 deep, as you can see, as the French in fact fought. I don't know really why, but I don't like to see the two lines of men. For me, it's a little bit strange. I have my Portuguese and British and late Spanish in two lines, fighting in 2 lines, as they did, and all other armies that I have, Austrians, Russians, French, and of course minor armies that fought for both Austria and France, all in 3 deep, like this one. So this is what I really enjoy doing. Now, relation to this army, this big thing that you see here, around 1,000, maybe 500 figures, something like that, I don't know, is intended to portray the 3 armies: Second Army of General Renier, Sixth Army of General Ney, and the 8th Army of General Soult, that were in the Battle of Buçaco, as I told you. There are some pieces of ground of that battle. You can see here the chapel of Sant Antonio do Cântaro, from where Second Corps of General Renier departed. You can also see here the mill that from where Massena controlled the battlefield, on the opposite side of Sant Antonio do Cântaro. In fact, this is in order to show you the 2nd Corps, then the 3rd Corps, and 8th Corps. I changed the position of the army, because in fact the 2nd Corps is on that place over there. So it is at the southern part of the battlefield, close to Rio Mondego, and the 6th Corps, which is here. I called it wrongly, army, sorry, but the French call it Corps. You can see here the 6th Army would be here, and that mill that I showed you before would also be close to the 6th Corps. The 8th Corps of General Soult would be on the reserve, on the back of the 6th. So this is more or less the idea for the Battle of Buçaco. The French will have a tremendous task in front of them. They will have to go uphill a big mountain of 16 kilometers long in a battlefield that extended more or less around some 8 kilometers and a half, more or less, from Sant Antonio do Cântaro to Sula, to the Sula villages. There are 2 villages and 2 different fights in this battle, divided by around more or less some 5 kilometers, more or less, from one to the other, which is one of the reasons for difficult communication. The French will attack first using the second corps. The sixth should have followed at the same time, and they can't do that. We should not forget that this guy here, Régnier, and here Ney and General Soult here and Massena, they're all rivals, which also didn't help much the Armée de Portugal to win battles on this campaign. This was, of course, a huge problem, and people don't get along for several reasons. Well, let's leave this sort of stuff, and let's go to the model. So you see here the second corps departing from the village of Saint-Antoine du Canter. You can see here Saint-Antoine du Canter. It has the chapel of Saint-Antoine du Canter as a particular funny roof, as you can see. So this part here is detached from the main building and a little bit in an oblique position, as you can see. So this is the real thing, and this is of course a scratch built model made in card. After visiting several times, and also after watching several times on Google Maps the way the roof is. This is just a commercial and repainted Portuguese house, the ones that are sold in handicraft shops, and I have others that also are intended for peninsular battlefields. Figures. Most of these figures, as you can imagine, are plastic. So you can see here the famous Eschi Grenadiers. You can see here plenty of, again, Eschi Grenadiers with Eschi shakos from the infantry. So these are conversions. This is a Léger regiment. This is the second Léger. You can see here the 36th line. Mostly, as you can see, mostly, if not all of them, are hat industries, exactly. Then you see here another Léger regiment. And you see here Zvezda figures, which are absolutely amazing figures, also mixed with some Eschi with new shakos. And here also you can see a few voltigeurs, and they are of course some of them are Zvezda, but others are let me try to find what they are. They are hat industries, you can see over there, and also some Zvezda with this Busby hat taken from the Airfix Hussars, from the British Airfix Hussars. The Carabiniers are again Eschi. So you see here a brigade led by a general here. This one is a regular miniatures 20mm officer. Another brigade here. This one is the Grandorge brigade. This is General Grandorge. You can see here most of them are also, most of these officers are also conversions. I pick foot officers and I cut them by the waist and place them on top of cavalry legs, and I make generals like this. This one is another one suffering the same surgery I told you, and more or less the same up to the end. So you can see here one brigade, a second brigade here, a third brigade over there. Oh, let me place it here if I'm not mistaken, exactly, and a fourth brigade over there. So the two divisions, the divisions of Merle and Odelay are here, and together with the cavalry, the Hussars here of the first regiment of Hussars, Italeri figures, Eschi Dragoons, and then Chasseurs à cheval, which are also conversions. You can recognize here maybe the bodies of the Revel British Dragoons, coupled with the heads from the Eschi shackled infantry. Okay, so you can see here the full complement of them. So again, as I told you, plenty of hat boxes and Zvezda and Eschi conversions, all in the pre-Bardin, of course, uniform. It's one of the problems of these campaigns. You can't use, of course, the famous Waterloo uniforms of Airfix and things like that, because the tail of the French coat was longer, and of course the front was also different from the Bardin uniform. So you need to, you need to be careful about choosing this models for this period. Again, it's more or less the same in Ney's core. Again, Ney is a conversion from, I don't know, I think with a Russian Strelets head, if I'm not mistaken, or Austrian head, I'm not sure. So I made this figure to look like Ney after catching some pictures of the real guy. I did the same with Renier. Renier is a straightforward Italian figure, but the ADC is also the same, if I'm not mistaken, I think, I'm not sure, maybe. And these two officers, main one is Ney, is a conversion with several touches on the uniform and the new head. So again, Leger here, then hat industries mostly, as you can see. Again, Zvezda over there, more hat industries. Here started some Icreol also, infantry placed. You can recognize some Icreol figures here, which are very cute, very nice figures. Again, mixed Icreol and AJT figures for this line. Infantry here, and more over there of the same, and over there more Icreol and hat industries mixed. Hat and Icreol mixes really very well. By the way, artillery, you can see here 9 pieces of artillery towed with, towed, pulled by limbers, and they are hat industries mostly, and Eshi guns. The Imperial Guardsmen, Imperial artillerymen with shakos, okay, to make the regular foot artillery. You can see here more with horse artillery over there. So you see, each corps has 3 of these groups of a gun and a limber. Now, a word for some exquisite uniforms. You see here the Légion du Midi with brown jackets. You can see here these are Hanoverians, Hanover infantry, and you can see here also plenty of conversions, Eshi conversions mixed with some Eshi, and with new heads, okay. And then here more what? This is AJT again, and this last brigade is mostly AJT, and this one is a coated regiment, just for a little bit of a change. Yeah, and the cavalry of Ney, you can see here should be, let me check on my paper. I have a paper here to check mistakes, which is better. It should be the 3rd Hussars, which in fact they had gray coats, but I had this one, I still didn't paint them, so I'm using the 4th Hussars, French Hussars. And then finally also some more chasseurs à cheval. This is the 15th regiment, again made with Eshi heads and revel bodies from the British heavy dragoons. I was not filming properly exactly what I was saying, so here's another view. Now for the last core, which is the 8th core. You can see here Salt, as I showed you before, and you see here is smaller. So each of these bases represent around 200 men. So you can see here the core is relatively smaller. There was in fact the biggest regiment of Salt of the entire French army was in fact on the 8th. Let me check the number. I'll tell you. It's better to pick the paper. And the big battalion with over. It was the 65th Infanterie de Ligne, Régiment d'Infanterie de Ligne, as the French would say. So you see it very big. I even placed an officer on foot from Waterloo 1815. There was a regimental, there was a brigade commander, even so, which was General Gratien. And then you see here another another, nothing particularly new. Some Eshi with wrong coats, as you know, because these Eshi figures were made for so many years. I recruited them for this campaign because for them not to be alone. But in fact, they have the wrong coat because on the back, it is a very strange set of figures that came, because it has the front of the 1808 1808 uniform, or from 1806 on, but but with the turncoats of the late French infantry. So it is a little bit of a complicated set to be used. Some people use it for tirailleur and things like that, for the guard, but it's not a very useful set. But even so, in order to have ads taken with very lovely faces and shackles, it is very good, as I did with plenty of these miniatures that I've showed you. And then over there more AJT, and then those green guys. Let me show you from closer. These are some Austrians that are already starting to show up. I'll talk a bit about that soon. So you can see here the Irish regiment and the Prussian regiment. Okay, that also belong to the 8th Corps, and here the dragoons of the, which in fact there were several detachments from several regiments all along this line, so painted with cuffs in different colors. So you can see here, and they are lovely figures from, these ones are Italy. Okay. So plenty of work, as you can imagine, because you need to find all colors of all different cuffs for the dragoons, and then the exact uniform of the Prussians, of the Irish, and even the uniform of each individual regiment, especially for the drummers, which are always a little bit different from each other. So, but it's also a fascinating thing to be done, as you can imagine. Let me show you something that is funny here. I'll show you here one of the rascals of the period, which was in fact this guy here. This guy is General Loison. He belonged to the corps of General of Ney. And as you can see, the guy has no arm. The right arm was taken out in a hunting accident, and this guy was a true serial killer. He killed around 5,000 people in Évora, and in my hometown in Coimbra, which is some 25 kilometers from the Buçaco battlefield. He also was responsible for the death of over 2,000 people. And even today, when someone dies, we say, vai para o maneta, go to the maneta. And maneta in Portuguese means the one with one arm. So even today, we still have plenty of proverbs from these days, which in fact marked Portuguese history very, very deeply, and it is a very famous character, unfortunately. And so, as you can imagine, when we go to the Maneta, we are making a reference to this general, to General Loison. Well, he's gone by now, of course. Well, everything is, I think, mostly shown. I could show you also a few more buildings like this one for the village of Sula. In fact, I can show you nowadays the true Sula, because my dog is called Sula, in homage, of course, to the one of the parts of this battle. Sula, Neka, Sula, Neka. She's coming. I'll show you the beautiful Sula. Sorry, and she's here. Sula, say hello to everybody. She doesn't speak because she's very shy, but as you can see, she's a very beautiful dog, as you can see. Well, and I am very proud and vain owner, of course. So one last word for the voltigeurs. I placed some voltigeurs on individual stands, mostly hat industries and semi-creole also. Just in case of my intention of using some other different rules. Not brigade, regimental or battalion rules, battalion size rules. So I have some stands of individual voltigeurs to be used. Otherwise, as you can see, all voltigeurs are inside the battalions, okay, to which they belong. So I think everything is shown. One last word for Massena. Massena is another conversion, as you can imagine. Plenty of. I think this guy was made of several. Plenty of also of milliput to in order to make the tiger Shabrak, if I'm not mistaken. He also, I think, he has Strelets Russian head, I think, and then the other figures are ADCs and some officer from staff officer from the Italian Napoleonic headquarter group, which also carries inside Napoleon itself, which is funny. So I think everything is shown. I hope you have enjoyed, and very soon I will show you. Oops, sorry. Let's try to focus. Okay, and very soon I'll show you the the Portuguese and the British that opposed to this very big army. When the two opposed, they made the biggest battle in our history. So around 130,000 men shooting at each other, causing around more than 5,000 casualties, close to 6,000 casualties, on the 27th of September 1810, which is the date of the Battle of Buçaco. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.